Welcome you all again to the first day of T-Preneur Game Plan. So the first one, mindset. Before we actually get into the topic, how many of you believe the goal that you fix, the aim that you have in life, or the ambition that you have in life? You might have any ambition, like you want to be a businessman, you want to be an entrepreneur, you want to achieve something in life. How many of you believe mindset is the first thing? Mindset is the first step that you need to clear. Once you have the right mindset, you can win over anything. How many of you believe this? Type MS if you believe this. Mindset is the first thing that you need to look at. If you have the right mindset, rest all will follow, isn't it? Yes, fantastic. So let's see, how should your mindset be? There's a sort of old belief system, right? A lot of people tell me this. A lot of people tell me this. I am not ready yet. I am not ready yet. You will have aspirations, you will have ambitions, you will have dreams. A dream without a goal is just a wish. A dream without a goal is just a wish. Anybody can wish anything, isn't it? Anybody can have dreams, but how many of them take action? A lot of people come up with a lot of excuses saying, I have this commitment and I have this obstacle. I can't start. I'm not ready yet. I have a lot of things to do. I want to settle in life. Then think about business. Business is not for retirement, isn't it? That's if that's your dream, if that's your passion, you need to pursue it. So taking action is the first step. How many of you are all working professionals here? Type WP if you're a working professional. Type WP if you're a working professional. Awesome. There are a lot of working professionals. And I could find this pattern with a lot of working professionals. They would keep telling the same thing again and again. I'm not ready yet. I have this commitment. Right? We keep loading our EMIs and we don't get ready to take action. Right? You need to remove that mindset from now on. If you want to be an entrepreneur, if you want to be in business, you need to get into action first. Right? That's the first thing. Second, I don't have money to start. How many of you feel? How many of you feel money is the money is the only thing that you need to have before you start? Or I can put it like this, or money is the problem to start your business. How many of you feel that money is the only problem to start your business? Yes, type M if you feel money is the obstacle for you to start a business. Yes, of course it's a problem. I don't say it is not a problem at all. And I always tell this, money is the last problem to solve. Money is the last problem to solve. Today, we have a lot of options to bring in money. Exactly. We have a lot of options to bring money, be it bank loans or be it family, friends, right? Or be it angel investment. There are a lot of options to bring money, right? Having this as an excuse to start your own business, that's an old belief system, right? So I can give you a lot of ideas on how you can actually, uh, you know, get your initial seed fund to start your business, right? I will take you through it probably in the next 4 days of session. Any of the time, I will explain it how you could do it, right? So product will sell itself. You have this whole belief system. Product will sell itself. A lot of people get aversion when it comes to sales, and especially people who are not into business. How many of us get irritated when somebody calls from a call center to sell a credit card? To sell a credit card. How many of us feel bad? How many of us feel irritated when somebody calls you to sell a credit card? How many of us answer politely that you don't require a credit card or you don't require a insurance? It's their job to sell. And tomorrow, if you're starting your own business, without sales, there is no transaction. Without transaction, there is no cash flow. Without cash flow, there is no business at all. So that's the chain, is it? That's the chain, right? If there is no sales, there is no cash flow. If there is no cash flow, there is no revenue. If there is no revenue, there is no profit in your business. So your outlook towards sales has to change. Product will not sell itself. That's an old belief system. You have to sell. Of course, you create a brand, there will be a brand power, and all of these things will happen. But you have to shamelessly sell your product. You have to shamelessly sell your story. You have to shamelessly sell your brand. And I'm proud to call myself as a shameless entrepreneur in a very, very right sense. In a very, very right sense, right? So if you have the right product, if you have a wonderful product, should be ashamed enough to sell. If you have the best product, we should shamelessly take it to a lot of customers. Should that be the thought process? How many of you can relate with me on this? If you have a fantastic product, if you have a fantastic team, your job is to shamelessly sell your brand. Your job is to shamelessly sell your product. How many of you agree with me on this? Type relate in the chat box, please, if you can relate with me on this. Yes? Exactly. Exactly. So remove that mindset. If anybody comes with a sales attitude, observe them and learn from them. Sales is basically like you're helping people, isn't it? Through sale, what are you doing? You're trying to create value for somebody through a sale. You get a product from someone, you pay something, and then you get a product. That product is going to help you in a lot of events, be it personal growth or health or whatever the commodity might be, whatever the service might be, whatever the product might be, but it is going to help you in a way, right? So remove that mindset. So making massive money is bad. How many of you have this mindset? We have been educated right from our childhood, right? Making money is bad, or making massive money is bad. If you don't attract money, money will not attract you. How many of you agree with me on this? If you don't attract money, money will not attract you. You need to create a lot of wealth. You need to create a lot of wealth. Why you need to create a lot of wealth? It is not to just have a lavish lifestyle. Once you create wealth, it could be done, it could be useful for a lot of people. What happens when you start your own business? You create employment. You create business opportunities for your vendors. You pay taxes. You're helping the economy to grow. And you're sharing wealth with others. You're paying salaries. In a way, they are spending a lot of money in their lifestyle. So it's all about wealth creation. But I personally believe that you need to create a lot of wealth. Why you need to create a lot of wealth? Because creating wealth for yourself and for others is the key towards success. It's not about creating wealth for yourself alone. So that's the interesting part about starting a business. Why business is so exciting? In the last 10 years, I've been into multiple businesses. Why business is so exciting for me? Because I create impact through business. I create impact through entrepreneurship. Let me tell you a calculation. Let's say you're starting a business tomorrow. You're employing 20 people in your business. You're employing 20 people in your business. So 20 people, there'll be 4 people in a family. So it becomes 80 people. You're feeding 80 people month on month. Isn't it a great thing? How many of you feel this is great? How many of you feel this is great? Type great in the chat box, please, if you feel this is great. Tomorrow, you're doing 10 lakhs in sale when you have 3 outlets. Imagine you have 3 outlets and you're doing 10 lakh in sale. You're employing 20 people. You're paying taxes. You're paying to vendors. You're feeding 80 people. Isn't that great? That's the best part of business. That's the Best part of business. So remove all these old belief system if you want to be successful in business, right? The next thing, it's not a quick rich scheme. Lot of people need success immediately. They need immediate results, right? It is not a quick rich scheme. Okay, I put something, tomorrow I get it back with a, it's not like gambling, right? So it's not like you put money on a lottery and then you get it as a jackpot. It's a marathon. It's not a 100-meter dash. It's a marathon. What do you do in marathon? What do you do in marathon? You walk towards the target very slowly, step by step. You're focused on the journey, isn't it? The journey is going to be long. You know that the journey is going to be long, and you're very patient enough. And you have that perseverance behavior when you travel, when you walk. All of this thing will apply to business. Have this mindset. It's not a quick rich scheme. I'm not telling you that you cannot quickly make money. Yeah, definitely you can quickly make money if you follow systems, if you follow standards, if you learn from other people's mistakes, if you can adapt all of those things in your business. Definitely you can do that. But it's not like a jackpot, right? It is going to take its own time, right? It's like bringing up a baby, right? It takes time, right? So it's not a quick rich scheme. What business are we in? You all wanted to be modern entrepreneurs, isn't it? Tell me, what business are we in? Type that in the chat box, please. What business are we in? I want some interesting answers from you guys. What business are we in? What do we deliver? What do we offer as a modern tea outlet owner? Food. What else? What else? Experience. Quick service restaurant. Refreshing drinks. Refreshment. Okay. Stress relief. Wonderful. Happiness and satisfaction. Snacks. Neat and clean place. Super. I could see some interesting answers. Spreading emotions over tea. Stress buster center. Exactly. We are not in the business of just selling tea. We are in the business of making people energized. We are in the business of making people energized. We are in the business of making people stress free. How many of you have experienced this? I have personally experienced this. If you're stressful, if you're having your cup of favorite chai, favorite tea, your stress will get relieved. How many of you can relate with me on this? Yes? Super. A lot of them. A lot of them. And it makes us energized, isn't it? It makes us energized. It gives that energy. If you're feeling sleepy, if you have a cup of tea, it will make you energized. Super, super. The third one, business of making people healthy. Tea is a very healthy drink. Tea is a healthy drink, right? Apart from diabetics and things like that, tea actually is a healthy drink. When you compare with other soft drinks, carbonated drinks, other drinks that are added with preservatives, when you compare with that, tea is definitely a healthy drink, right? And we are in the business of making people healthy, and especially in the modern tea outlet space, right? So you need to understand that we are not just in the business of selling tea, and especially in food business, you have a lot of responsibility when you do this business, right? You get good karma, I would say, because you're making people happy, isn't it? When you're in food business, how many of you can relate with me on this? When you're in food business, you're making people happy. You're filling people's stomach, right? That's the best part. When people happy, you get good karma. I always believe in karma. Yes, Super. So systems don't fail, people fail. Systems don't fail, people fail. If you want to build a sustainable business, if you want to build a profitable business, you need to follow systems. And I'm someone who always believe that if you have a system in place, system should drive people. People should follow system. People shouldn't drive system. System should drive people. Once you have a system, see, it's not about running a tech company or running a healthcare company, running a tea outlet business. Any business, it needs systems, right? I'm someone who believe that you can definitely create system in this space, system in this business. That's the reason I ventured into this business way back in 2016. I wanted to create a system driven business. And I'm someone who believes that you need to scale your business into multiple outlets. I will only select businesses that could be done in multiple places. That's my ideology. That's my ideology, right? So once you have proper systems, once you learn the system, the reason you guys are here today, because you wanted to learn systems, isn't it? You wanted to learn from me how you can adapt these systems in your business and then make it quickly scalable and build a sustainable model, right? The reason I'm taking all of these sessions, see, I have a lot of commitment. I run my own brand and things like that. But my purpose in life is to create impact through entrepreneurship. My purpose in life is to create impact through entrepreneurship. So if I had to create impact through entrepreneurship, I can do it with my own brand. But if I could help people to start their own brands, it gives a wider reach, isn't it? Right? I have my own franchise system. I give franchise. All of these things are fine. But what if I create a system, I create a framework, and then give it to people to start their own brands? So that's the thought process. So all of these are created into the thought process of creating impact through entrepreneurship, right? Wonderful. So growth mindset. You need to have growth mindset. Failures will definitely happen. In the last 10 years, I've faced multiple failures in my journey. But one thing, I've matured enough to take failure as a feedback today. Because you always need to look at failure as an opportunity to grow. You need to learn from failures, right? And another reason for me to take up sessions like this is let people not repeat the same mistake which I have done. As simple as that. In the first few years of running this tea venture, I faced multiple challenges. I did a lot of mistakes and then learned, which in a way I don't want people to repeat. Let you do a new mistake and learn, but let's not repeat the same mistake which I have done, right? So have a growth mindset. Let's remove fixed mindset, right? So do not look at failure as a tragic thing and then stuck up with failure, right? So that's about mindset. Is this clear? Type MS if this is clear. Super, super. Okay, so coming to the important part of the program today, modern tea outlet. What exactly is a modern tea outlet? And some of you people who attended my free webinars, you would have seen all of these discussions that were happening in the free webinar as well. And I used to tell people that entrepreneurs are problem solvers. Entrepreneurs are problem solvers. Because every sustainable business is born out of a problem. I'm talking about sustainable businesses. I'm not talking about trade. Trade is different. You doing a dealership or you buying and selling products for someone, that's a trade. I'm talking about businesses. If you want to solve problems for someone, it's a fantastic opportunity, right? When I wanted to start something in this space, prior to that, I was running a training company. I went bankrupt, right? I went bankrupt, almost 40 lakh debt in that business. But then I wanted to start another business. But I was very firm that I should solve a problem. How many of you have this behavior of spotting problems? Spotting problems, trying to understand the opportunity for the problem. Yes. So, what are the problems in this industry? Before I wanted to start, it was a personal problem for me. When I went to tea outlets, I faced a lot of challenges in having access to quality cup of tea, right? So look at this, clean and hygiene. Is it a problem? How many of you feel this is a problem? Of course, it's a problem. Yes. So clean and hygiene is a problem. So can we solve that via a modern tea outlet model? Yes. So always look for pain points, always look for problems, right? So this has been a problem for a very long period of time. Clean and hygiene. Next, priority on safety. Prior to COVID and after COVID, how many of us are more concerned about safety and hygiene? Type yes if you're concerned about safety. Type yes if you're concerned about safety. We are all willing to pay a premium when it comes to having access to safety and hygiene food, isn't it? Isn't it? Yes. And a lot of people might have this mindset, okay, when the vaccine comes, all of these things will go on. No, safety is here to stay. People will definitely focus on safety even after vaccines are introduced, right? Because it has become a habit for a lot of people, right? So there is a huge gap in this industry. You might think, okay, it's another tea outlet. There are a lot of tea outlets in this space. What am I going to do different? Right? The difference lies in all of these parameters. Quality and consistency. That's another pain. How many of you have observed this? How many of you have observed this? You go to a regular tea shop, you're regular to the tea shop. Let's say you're having tea at that outlet for almost a month. One fine day you go there, you find that the taste has changed. And then you look for the tea master, that guy would have changed. How many of you have observed this? A lot of them, yes. So can we make sure that we offer quality and consistency all the time? That's a usual behavior that happens in tea outlets. So those are all the problems in front of us. And that is the opportunity for all of us, right? Inconvenience. Inconvenience. If you look at tea shops, most of the tea shops are crowded with people having cigarettes, right? Altogether, it's a different category. I don't deny the fact it has to be there. Altogether, it's a different category. But there is altogether a separate segment where there is a huge gap. People wanted to have quality cup of tea. Even a lot of women. See, you look at our outlets and some of our competitor outlets. 30 to 35% of our outlets are filled with women. And you will not find them in the local tea shops. Why? Because we don't encourage smoking. We announce it as a non-smoking area. People are not allowed to smoke in our tea outlets, right? So that's the perspective about modern tea outlets. And that's the opportunity for all of us today. You look at salon industry, how it has evolved in the last 20 years. Prior to that, we never had brands, isn't it? We had so much of local barber shops. See, for any industry, both of them will exist. I'm not telling all of this will be completely changed. Even local tea shops will be there and modern tea outlets will be there. But then a lot of things will change, right? So inconvenience, that's another problem. Can you create a convenient environment, right? Lack of unique varieties. How many of you have found this? You go to a regular, normal, local tea shop, you would hardly find one or two varieties. I'm talking about 90% of the tea outlets. Yes. So can we offer variety which is not available in the market? That's another way of looking at it. Yes. So that is with respect to modern tea outlet. So you need to focus on all of these parameters when you're building a modern tea outlet. Is this clear? Yes. Super. So coming to the profitable tea outlet overview, what are we going to do in the next 5 days? Right? How can you build a profitable tea outlet? Right? The first thing, you need to have a clear vision, a clear goal. Right? I'm going to tell you how you can set your goal for your business. And you guys are going to write your goal statement for today. Right? Great. So next, business model. What exactly is business model? What sort of business models are there? And what sort of business model you can adapt? Right? The next is on budget and menu pricing. What sort of budgets you need to plan for your tea outlet and how you need to fix your menu price, how you need to design your menu, right? And the next one is customer segments and competitor analysis. So I've created a system, a framework wherein you can write down your customer segments and then understand how good is the competition and what is the competition delivering and how you can benchmark and what is that plus one you can do when it comes to competition, right? So I've detailed that. All of these things are coming sessions, right? So next is USP and location selection. USP is unique selling proposition and what uniqueness you have as a brand. If somebody asks you why should someone have tea at your outlet, you need to talk to them, at least explain them in at least 4 to 5 points. So that's about USP. So we're going to talk about it. Location selection, how you need to select the best location for your tea outlet. And I have a checklist for that. I'm going to give you the template to you so that you can use that template and then select the best location for your tea outlet. The last day I'll mention all the action steps on how to build a profitable tea outlet in 30 days, right? So that's with profitable tea outlet overview, right? So next, business model in simple terms. What exactly is a business model? What exactly is the business model? Can you type that in the chat box, please? As per your understanding, what exactly is a business model? Projection and plan, project report, type of service or takeaway. Okay. What else? What else? Workflow, distribution, franchise. Cloud. Okay. Creating your own systems. Super. Okay. Who are your customers? How we serve and include revenue generation. Super. Right. So business model in simple terms, right? Product. What product you want to offer? Product or service, but for us it is a product. Target customer. Whom to sell the product. I've seen a lot of people getting into confusion when it comes to target customer. And they think when you do business with everybody. You do business for everybody. And market is like whole India is your market. A lot of people tell me this. Who is your customer? Everybody is my customer. You can't build a product that is everything for everybody. You have to be something for somebody. Right? So we're going to talk about it more in detail. But right now, please understand, you need to know your target customer. Who will buy product from you? And revenue. How to generate consistent sales. What is a revenue model? Right? So you might definitely get a lot of these questions. Why for a tea outlet, why I need to look at all of these things, right? It is very much mandatory. As I told you, be it a tech business or be it any business, you need to know how the business operates and what is the model that it needs to operate upon, right? Product, target customer, revenue. What product or service you're trying to offer, to whom are you trying to sell that product, and how you will generate consistent sales. Right? So that's business model in simple terms. 6 types of business models. When it comes to tea, I've segregated into 6 types of business models. Some of you, if you have attended my free webinar, you would have got this business model details, but let me recap, right? So kiosk, this is one business model where if you're looking at setting up small outlets, let's say 80 square foot, 100 square foot outlets, then you might look at it, right? Doing a temporary, an ACP structure kiosk, where you can probably have these sort of kiosk express in front of the malls, multiplexes, like cinema halls, tech park. You can definitely get a space where there's a proper rental agreement. Then probably you can set up outlets like this. So you can build a chain of outlets with respect to kiosk as well. So you might require 80 square feet. It could be a 8x8 or 10x10 kiosk, but you need to have very limited menu, even for beverages and also for snack. You can't have too many snack items that will be prepared at the outlet, because basically it's a very small space and you cannot offer them seating space. You need to have standing tables outside the outlet. So it should something like quickly grab and then leave. So minimal varieties with respect to beverage and snack. So if you're looking at a model like this, then yes, you could do that, right? So the advantage here is you can easily shift these kiosk or express. Let's say one location is not working, you can always shift it to another location. So that's with kiosk. The second is QSR. This is Chai Point's photograph. Chai Point, if you're from Bangalore, you would have known this brand, Chai Point. So Chaikant also operates in the similar space. So where you have a 300, 400 square foot space, you offer seating space for the customers, and you have a little extensive menu when you compare with the kiosk or express. So it falls under QSR, quick service restaurant segment, right? So you could have a lot of additional snack items here in this model. So yeah, if you're looking at building a model like this, then yes, you could look at it. But the space required is more than 300, 400 square foot, right? So that's with respect to QSR. That's the second one. Third, cafe. So there's a brand called Chayos. If you guys are from Mumbai, I think Bangalore, they've recently started. Probably guys in Bangalore can check. So, and tea trials is one other model. Yes. So when you want to set up an outlet like this, it's the tea price could be a little higher, because in the kiosk you might sell it at 15 rupees, 20 upwards, 15 rupees. QSR you can sell upwards 20-25 rupees. Cafe you can sell upwards of 70-80 bucks minimum, more than 100, right? So so that's one model. It's Chayos, CHAYOS. Yes. So if you want to offer experience along with the product, then you can look at a model like this. But the investment and all of the other stuff, the interior, definitely vary from the smaller models. Yes. So next is chai on wheels. So it could be a chai truck like this. If you want to build a chain of chai bikes like this, chai trucks like this, a three-wheeler or a small kiosk where it's completely mobile. So this could be one option if you're looking at it, but menu options will be very, very minimal, and you cannot have a lot of snack options at this outlet as well. So that's one model which you can look at. And there is another model with respect to e-bike. In fact, we did ride with e-bikes way back in 2018. We hired we actually got some 2-3 e-bikes and then tried it out, but it didn't do well. So these bikes, like, we used to prepare tea at one of our outlet and then fill it inside the fabrication. All of these things would have been done in the e-bike. Then we'll keep that on the e-bike. Then these e-bikes will cross on high streets and other areas. So that's one model that you can look at, but make sure that you have the right business model before you proceed with this e-bike model. So next is cloud kitchen. Cloud kitchen, you would require minimal space, 100 to 200 square foot. You could have a single brand with only the tea brand in cloud, or you can have multiple brands. But I would recommend you to have multiple brands, but I wouldn't recommend you to start a cloud brand directly, because you need to have a retail presence. That's what I strongly believe before you proceed with the cloud kitchen brand. So multiple brands, you can have a snack brand along with the tea brand. So that is also one way of doing it. Let's say you want to offer sandwiches, you can create a sandwich brand. You can list it separately on Swiggy and Zomato. So that could be an additional revenue for your business. And probably all of both the menus can be complementing. You can have similar menus so that your inventory will be less, your wastage will be less. So likewise, you can come up with a lot of options. So this could be one model. So guys, I would advise you to take a lot of notes, because these things are very important. So business model is a fundamental thing for all of the other things. So please note it down. So next is a hybrid model, where you could have a kiosk, QSR, or a cafe, but inside the QSR or cafe or kiosk, you could do a cloud brand. Let's say you're running a QSR outlet. So the front end, you have tea brand, but you can have a cloud brand inside. Not necessary you need to have a separate branding board and things like that, but only for the takeaway you can have. But all of those menu, even it could be available for customers who walk in at the outlet. So cloud brand is basically a cloud kitchen brand, right? So you basically have a dark kitchen where there is no retail presence, where customers will not walk in. It will have access only to deliveries, right? So likewise, you can look at it. So those are all the 6 business models: hybrid model, cloud kitchen, chai on wheels, cafe, QSR, kiosk. Super. Is this clear? Is this clear? 6 types of business models. Type BM in the chat box, please, if this is clear. BM in the chat box, please, if this is clear. Guys, if you have questions, please note it down. I will definitely answer at the end of the session. Super. So coming to the revenue channels. Okay, so now you understood that what exactly is a business model and what business model to select. So you have a business model now. So how to make revenue out of it? What are all the revenue options that you can look at? How you generate sales? As simple as that. Revenue is, in simple term, is sale. Let's say your target is to reach 3 lakh per month. 3 lakh in sales per month. How do you generate that sales? So a lot of people only think about generating walk-ins. That's the major volume. I agree with that. But what other options are there? We're going to see that. B2C. B2C is basically business to consumer. Right? There are two options. So B2B and B2C. B2B is business to business. Let me put it very simple. Okay. So you have a tea outlet. Now customers will walk into the tea outlet and they will order tea at the outlet. That is B2C. Let's say you get an order from a company, a small, to deliver 300, 400 cups of tea every day. So you will have your own delivery boy prepare tea at the retail outlet and then take it in a flask, go deliver it to the corporate. That is called B2B channel. It's called business to business. You're not directly selling it to the customer. You're selling it through a business where the business will pay you for the tea that you deliver. But the consumer is the employee of that company. How many of you get this? How many of you get this? A lot of people would know this, but then few people might not understand. So that's the reason I explained. How many of you get this? This is clear? Yes. Super. So B2C, what are all the options in B2C? So walk-in is the major source of revenue. Walk-in meaning you get people to your outlet who comes to your outlet and then have tea at the outlet. That is basically walk-in. Right? So delivery, that's the best part about modern tea outlets. How many of you have seen this flask? I guess you would have ordered from a lot of brands, people in Bangalore, Mumbai, Chennai, Hyderabad. You would have ordered chai flask. Yes. So it was actually done by Chai Point in India. Chai Point was inspired by Dunkin' Donuts in the US, a brand called Dunkin' Donuts, DUNKIN Donuts, where they used to have Dunkin' Donuts outlets at the highways. When these guys travel, they would order a coffee flask and then a donut, and then they have it on the go. So that's the inspiration for Chai Point. Yes. So now it has become a norm. Prior to that, nobody had this idea of ordering tea from outside. You would have observed this. When you go to an office, they immediately send the clerk boy or the office boy to go get a tea. Right? So nowadays, it's like in cities, you just click Swiggy or Zomato app, you order a chai flask. Right? So that's the power of delivery that we have. So delivery, you could actually have it as another channel. You could deliver through aggregators. You can tie up with Swiggy, Zomato, Dunzo. And I would say there is a good amount of volume that comes from it, but make sure that you work on the economics well, unit economics well. Make sure that you don't lose money by offering a lot of discounts and things like that. That's not advisable, but make sure that you do a sustainable delivery business. So that's one. You could do an own delivery. Let's say you have regular customers in and around your outlet within 500 meters, 1 kilometer or 2 kilometer. Let's say if they order 30 cups of tea or 50 cups of tea, you can do your own delivery. Have a minimum ticket size. Tell them your minimum ticket size is 500 rupees, 600 rupees. You will get a lot of orders. Right? So you can even tie up with Dunzo or companies like them, Link. Probably you can book a bike. These guys will go and deliver. So you need not have your own delivery people to deliver snack items or chai flask. So that's another way of generating revenue to your business. Right. The next is party orders. It's all pre-order. You have a birthday party, you have an office party. People would want to order from you. Let them pre-order. Let's say if 100 people or 200 people, let them pre-order, and then you organize snack and chai, and then you go deliver. So this could be done as a creative. This separate branding could be done. You need to let people know that you're doing this, right? So when you work on this, then yes, these are all additional revenues. So let me give you a simple calculation. Apart from the retail sales, let's say you do 5 to 6 party orders, 5 to 6 party orders every 15 days. Let's assume it is 10 party orders. You could easily do that when you focus on it. Let's say each of these party orders ticket size is 1,000 rupees. How much is the sales that you get in a month? Additional sale in a month, 10,000 rupees, right? If you can increase that to 1,500, 2,000 rupees, definitely you will get additional revenue. And with respect to delivery, it again depends on the aggregators and how you get listed, the review system, and all of those things. Yes. So that is with respect to B2C. Do you find this interesting, guys? Do you find this model interesting? Type interesting in the chat box, please. Super. So next is with respect to B2B. B2B. As I told you, it's a regular delivery that you do it for corporates. Let's say you get a corporate order. If there are 50 employees in that company. In fact, our first business model, when we tried, we had a retail with B2B delivery model. And we tried exclusive B2B models. Only the outlet is dedicated only to B2B models. So in fact, we were the first brand to try to organize that particular B2B segment. I'm not sure how many of you have observed this. You would have seen a lot of people going in scooters or Excel supers. They go deliver tea across companies. We tried organizing that segment by introducing standards and systems, prepare tea using RO water, prepare tea using sulfur-free sugar. We had a system, we had an audit process. In fact, we were the first company to sign service level agreement with the client for 99% on-time delivery of tea, right? So it might look fun, but we tried a lot of things in this space, right? So I have a lot of experience in dealing with corporates during that time. So it's a good model. It will give you regular revenue. Let's say you get 2-3 companies. If you're keeping it very minimal, let's say you get 2-3 companies, 50 employees each, 150 employees, you do 2 times delivery. So daily 300 cups, you charge a minimal 10-12 rupees. It becomes 3,000 rupees per day. How much per month then? If it's 3,000 rupees per day, yes, 20 days of working, it becomes 60,000. 20 days of work, because corporates don't work 30 days. Yes, 60 to 65,000 rupees, you would easily do that. So we were doing about 3,000 cups per day. Lifestyle, Max Retail, there were a lot of companies used to be our clients. But then as a model, as a separate model, we were not looking at very keen to scale. Because if you're looking at 1 or 2 outlets, a decent business, solid business, then definitely you can do it. Yes. So have tie up with corporate, small companies. I'm not talking about big corporates. Have small companies and institutions. If you're looking at, you could sign a deal with them, and it could be a regular revenue generation for you. Great. So payment modes, go with a subscription. Either ask them for an upfront payment, ask them to pay it upfront in the starting of the month. So that could be one smart way of doing it. Or go with monthly, weekly payments. Do not take 60 days credit period, because that will kill your business, right? So that's another important learning, because you have to pay your vendors on time, isn't it? If you have a milk vendor, you have to pay your vendors on time. But the corporate will say, I will pay after 60 days. It is not going to work, right? Don't go with that. Have monthly, weekly payments. And another B2B model, like putting up small kiosk inside pantry, inside corporates in the pantry space, or food court outlets. It is one opportunity that you can look at. But if the COVID revives, then there could be a lot of opportunity in the space. So cash and carry, go with cash and carry if you're putting a pantry, or monthly, weekly payments. Do not get into, because see, your sale will be fantastic. Okay, in business, It's not about just having a fancy sales number. End of the day, it has to be realized in your account. You need to have balance in your account. The money has to be realized, right? Else it is not your money. It's just in paper somewhere, right? So that's the way to look at. So that's another revenue channel that you can look at. So that's B2C and B2B. Is this clear? Type RC revenue channels if this is clear. Super, super. Great. So coming to goal setting. Today, you're going to set your goal. How many of you are excited to set your goals today? How many of you have that energy to actually start your own outlet very soon? Yes. Type excited if you're all excited. I'm very much excited because I wanted to help you guys start soon. Yes. Super. Super, super. Super. So what you want to do is the next 5 days, you're going to write your goal statement every single day. Every single day. How many of you have gone through this affirmations? How many of you believe in affirmations? You get that positive vibration when it comes to affirmations, or simply talking in a very positive tense. Yes, I strongly believe in vibration. You need to have the right vibration, the positive vibration. Any activity that you do, it's all about your vibration. It's all about your energy, right? See, rest of all these things will fall in place, guys. I'm telling you. If you have the right mindset, if you have the right energy, if you have the right vibration, everything else will fall in place, right? So do not worry about it. Just have that positive mindset. And of course, see, failures, challenges, all of these things are part and parcel in life. Don't take things very seriously, right? Of course, if there is a financial problem, there will be stress. I'm not denying the fact, but let's all face it, right? So let's not go with fear of failure. How many of you have this? Honestly, people have not yet started. People have not got business experience. How many of you have got this fear of failure? Type FF if you've got this fear of failure. Yes. What if my business fail? What if I don't make money? Yes. What will my in-laws tell if I fail in my business? What will my parents tell if I fail in this business? Yes. We are very much concerned about what people will talk about it, isn't it? What people will talk about it, isn't it? Rather, we are not that much concerned about our own failure. We are most concerned about how people will react, our own family, our own friends, what my wife will say. Yes, 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 yes. Everybody has this problem. If you think that's your problem, no, it's a universal problem. It's a universal problem, right? See, as an ecosystem, as a society, we are a very conservative society. We wanted to take up quality education. We wanted to get a job. We wanted to get a decent pay scale and have a very risk-free life. People assume that if you don't take up business, there is no risk in life. How many of you agree with me on this? Tomorrow, if you're fired from your job, is job not a risk? Is job not a risk? Tell me. Yes. Then why people think that business is only risk? Yes. Even in business, you know where you travel. You can actually go with a calculated risk. Yes, see, always go with calculated risk. I'm not asking you to blindly jump into it, right? Do your homework. You're very fortunate, I must say, because even I'm fortunate today to share it with you all today. Why? Because I want to create more entrepreneurs. I want to see more entrepreneurs, more business owners coming in. I gave you the explanation in the beginning itself. Why there should be more entrepreneurs? Why there should be more business owners? Right? So let's break that barrier. Let's do proper homework. Let's learn and then launch our own business. Probability of success will be more. Right? Let's, if at all, even if we fail fast, learn fast. That's what I usually believe in. All right, great. So let's get into goal setting. Wonderful, wonderful. So what's your goal for a profitable tea outlet? You're going to write this today. You're going to do this as an exercise. This will be your goal, right? I've given you an example. You can probably rewrite this. It should be in the positive present tense. I'm running my profitable modern tea outlet that is generating sales of 3 lakh every month. That is generating sales of 3 lakh every month. Let's not write a goal that is based on assumption. Let's make sure, okay, that's going to happen. We're going to write it. How many of you are with this energy? How many of you are with this energy? Type energy in the chat box, please. I'm running my profitable modern tea outlet that is generating sales of 3 lakh every month. It is doable. It is doable. Your outlet can do 3 lakh. From my experience. And I'm not just a business coach here. I'm an entrepreneur. So take my word. Yes. Go talk to a local tea shop owner. Ask him how many teas does he sell every day. Ask him how much sales does he do every month. You will get this. You will get an idea. Right? It is all doable. Right? So if your goal is to make 4 lakh, definitely write 4 lakh. 3.5 lakh, right? 3.5 lakh. Right? So I am running my profitability outlet that is generating sales of 3 lakh every month, or 3.5 lakh, or 4 lakh. You need to write as if it has happened. So daily you have to write it in a paper and then put it in the group. All right. Super, super. Can we all do that? Type goal if we can do that. Awesome. Super. There is going to be another task. There's going to be another task for you guys today, right? So task 1 is writing your profitable tea outlet goal statement that I've already explained. Task 2 is business model and revenue channel. I'm going to share you an Excel sheet, right? So you are going to decide your business model today. See, all of these are action based. It is not just a training and you go off and then you come next day and then you go off. It's not going to happen like that. Every day you will have exercises. I want you guys to take action. Only serious action takers will go with me on this. All right. So if you're ready for action, if you're ready, if you have that commitment, I will make you guys launch tea outlets. Don't worry. If you have that commitment, I will make sure that you guys launch your own modern tea outlet. I'm committed. If you are committed, let's do it together. Super, super. I want that energy. I want that mindset. I want that positive vibration in all of you guys. Right? Great. So complete the business model and revenue channel column in profitable tea outlet model sheet. Super. Super. I will share you that Excel sheet. Mention you have gone through the business model, you have gone through the revenue channel. Mention that in the Excel sheet. So you're going to do that. And tomorrow, 3 p.m., the WhatsApp group will be open. You can post your exercise on the group. Right? You do it in an Excel sheet, take a screenshot, and then share it in the group. Right? Can we all do that? Can we all do that? Type commitment in the chat box, please. Type commitment in the chat box, please. If we can do that. Super, super. Love your energy. Thank you. Thank you. Great. So these are all very, very simple exercises. It is not going to take you more than 5-10 minutes. All right. If you don't take action today, you may not be able to take it anytime soon. All right.